1 Corinthians chapter 9 verses 16 to 23. Preach the good news of the gospel. Brothers and sisters, if I preach the gospel, this is no reason for me to boast, for an obligation has been imposed on me, and woe to me if I do not preach it. If I do so willingly, I have a recompense, but if unwillingly, then I have been entrusted with a stewardship. What then is my recompense? That, when I preach, I offer the gospel free of charge so as not to make full use of my right in the gospel. Although I am free in regard to all, I have made myself a slave to all so as to win over as many as possible. To the weak I became weak, to win over the weak. I have become all things to all, to save at least some. All this I do for the sake of the gospel, so that I too may have a share in it. In this reading we can see a number of similarities between Paul and Jonah. Both were compelled to obey the Lord and preach. Both were reluctant to do God's will. At the time of their calling both viewed themselves as patriots. Both were sent into what appeared to them to be hostile countries. Jonah tried to flee to Tarshish because he didn't want to preach to his country's enemies, the Ninevites of Assyria. Paul was knocked to the ground while he was on his way to capture and return to Jerusalem the Christians of Damascus. Both Jonah and Paul were persecuted for their beliefs. Because they obeyed God's call, Jonah was astounded by Nineveh's repentance and Paul by the willingness of the majority of his listeners to do the same. Paul was a perfect choice to bring the gospel to the Jews. Why? He was very well educated in Jewish tradition and beliefs and thus understood the Jewish religious perspective. Paul never lost sight of his roots, or his concern for the salvation of his own people. We see his concern expressed in 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 22 when he says, "Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they descendants of Abraham? So am I." Preaching and sharing God's good news can never be seen as a drudgery. Rather, it is a duty that we carry out with joy. When he entered a new town, he always sought to preach at the synagogue in order to convert Jews. Paul was willing to put aside his Jewish traditions, such as eating meat sacrificed to a pagan god, in order to win Gentiles to Christ. But though Paul was a forceful advocate of liberty, he did not suggest he was a freethinker in religious matters. In order to be an effective evangelizer, you need to understand the religious perspective of your audience before you can begin to discuss your religious viewpoint. Paul never entered a town and told the people that he was better educated. He never said he was more intelligent, he never attempted to get paid for his preaching. No, he practiced his trade of tent making and joined the community as a working man with a message of importance. The essence of gospel humility is not thinking more of myself, or thinking less of myself, it is thinking of myself less. Timothy Keller.